All right, let's start. We've only got 40 minutes, and this is how I thought we should do this. I'll be giving you guys a long list of impressions and experiences and failures and thoughts and things I've learned last few years. I've been playing around with Perl Mongers for 9 years now, almost 10. 10 years. I'm not the one who's been doing this the longest, but I at least learned something. And I've been doing some other kind of organizing stuff a few years before that. So I've had the organization sickness for, I think, almost 20 years now. Meaning I'm still a noob. I still suck at this game. Quickly first, Oslo Perl Mongers. This is the board. Strange enough, it's almost the same people who usually meet up. So that should say something. Quick question, who considers themselves part of a Perl Mongers group here? Almost everyone. Oh, yeah. And who of you have helped organize one? Or Perl Mongers group? Some of you try to do something, and who of you would like to do so or think that's something that's needed? Okay, a couple of you who aren't completely there. Awesome. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. All right. In Oslo, we're not that many people. It's like a city of little less than 700,000 people. We have 160-ish people on the mailing list. Almost no one says anything there, except for me. We have somewhere between 1 and 20 people at our meetings. One? Yes. We've had meetings with one person. If it was fun for me, yeah, I had a nice dinner and a beer, and then I left.
Well, you recognize Cipro.
Yeah. All right. So I have 59 points. They cover things about why and failing and not failing and some other stuff and some observations. And all of these are numbered. And what I would like you to do is to pick up some paper or your computer or whatever, and then write down the numbers of the topics you care about. And then afterwards, you just raise your hand. I want to know about the one number that you care the most about, and then we have a couple of rounds of that and try to have a nice conversation. Does that work for you guys? Yeah, and when you're speaking, by the way, try to speak very clearly, because I'm the only one who has this thing here. I will try to not use it too much, but it's important that you guys say something.
I'm a bit timid because no one is laughing, but 59 points to be asked about sounds like a joke.
Sounds like...
It sounds like a joke.
No, I saw the slides. He doesn't have 59 points.
Yeah.
Okay. I will do this quickly. Starting with, okay, why should we bother? That's actually a hard question sometimes, in my opinion. It's not always about the beer or the talks. Sometimes it's just about being social and having fun with people. It's about learning new people, to know new people. It's called networking in business speak. It's about creating serendipity, meaning picking up cool stuff that you might not bump into at work. By just meeting new people with new experiences, you might get the inspiration for something relevant for yourself. It's about purposefully putting yourself in a situation where you can learn new stuff. You can always read stuff online or in a book, but this is kind of a social version of it. Of course, beer is nice if you like that. Some drink whiskey. Also, about organizing a peering group, if you're actually going to do it, it's just as well to accept that nobody else is going to do it. You guys are incredibly special by bothering to show up here to begin with. And for me, at least, it kind of helped a little just to give up thinking somebody else will do it and just do it myself. Things that didn't work well. I hope you're writing down some numbers that you would like to talk about. That one guy in Oslo PM, that didn't work well. It's kind of tiring, so you should try to avoid that if you can. Bribing people to come with a case of beer doesn't work. We try that. Thinking about predictable scheduling of meetings, we've tried that. It didn't work, or it actually didn't matter. We tried different meeting days. Didn't matter either. Didn't bring more people. All the people left. Forcing people to do something that works particularly bad. I've tried it, it didn't work. Just being excited about something without thinking whether or not it's relevant doesn't work. You can always shout, woo, but if people don't care about what you're shouting about, then hey, you're just making noise. Keeping things simple and low-key is a nice way of failing because at the same time it's kind of boring. Accepting help from people who tend to say no can be very frustrating because you find that they might offer something useful, but they will not try to do anything else, and that can be kind of painful. Thinking someone else would take care of it, like optimism, blind uncritical optimism, as I tend to call it, doesn't work. Being formal about stuff doesn't work. There's a point later about that with the wrong numbering. Appointing an election committee. If you're formal, then having an election committee to figure out who's going to be in the board next year doesn't work. You have to still care about stuff. So that's a couple of those that didn't. Here's some stuff that actually worked. Involving your local companies, that has been incredibly successful for us. We'll talk about how if you write down the number and ask about it afterwards. The pm.org infrastructure that everybody can use has been incredibly stable and extremely nice to have. Well, they're slow to contact, but we can take care of that. We can talk about it afterwards. 20. Doing something that is a little bit ambitious is usually a good thing. It's something that makes people think you're not just drinking beer. This is something that took me a long time to learn, actually. I'm quite a boring person in many ways, and just having a good time, that's actually good. And if you have people who are good at having a good time, it kind of rubs off. Right now I'm not, because I'm on the stage. I'm not boring. Having a good relationship with Perl shop bosses has actually had an incredibly cool consequence for us in Oslo PM. I'd love to talk about this one if you're interested. Organizing training classes has been awesome for us. It's opened new doors and made incredibly cool stuff happen. Hackathons have been a low cost, very cool thing to do, definitely worth doing. Workshops have been very fun, but they're kind of more ambitious. And the two we had in Oslo were very cool, lots of things that happened there I could tell you about. Trips, I think that's an undervalued kind of activity, just basically saying, let's go over there and do stuff and just have a good time. We had an organized trip to Yapsi in Lisbon and in Braga, where we had car trips around in the area, were tourists, and it was very fun. Well, this is the other side of having a formal organization. There are some really good things about it, involving support, money, being able to send invoices to companies that want to sponsor you. This is useful. not being too technical is a recurring issue because lots of the noobs out there, they think it's just for the expert. The Perl Mongers meetings are just for the best of the best, and that's strictly not right. Just aim for something simple and you'll be fine. But having said that, it's also nice to have some cool stuff and some new stuff and spread it all out. We've tried a Christmas dinner with our local Linux user group. That was incredibly fun. There were 10 people. A summer barbecue was incredibly fun too, and I have some pictures that you'd love. Inviting other technical communities to your event, that's been very successful. We have a Ruby group in Oslo with similar problems as ourselves, and there's a bunch of Java people and all kinds of other things, other kind of groups, and being able to invite all of them and say, hey, Damien Conway is really cool, you should come and listen, and then not fail their expectations, that was awesome. Things I haven't tried, but I think might be worth considering. It would be cool. Trying for a donation system for also the PM. We haven't done that. Paid membership is something we've considered, but never actually do it. Fight Club like rules like, if it's your first time there, then you have to talk. I like this one, but I'm kind of scared. Yeah, so, but whatever. No, talk about something that you've experienced, for example. I've been involved in a bunch of similar types of organizations, most lately in one of the hackerspaces in Oslo, and from there I've learned that creating an identity is actually very important. Am I in the way for some of you guys? Identity, just saying and being able to show I'm one of the Perl guys with some t-shirts, for example, or a secret handshake or something, that works. Perl Mason. Just plainly being inviting and doing something fun and social. And just saying, hey, it's an open door. That actually is nice, it works. And sadly, it is true, we might be Perl people in many, many ways, but it's actually the people that are there that makes us stay. So in general, if we're nice people, we'll attract more nice people. Another thing I've learned is that not everybody is of the including open extrovert type. I've had to learn myself to be that, or at least seem to be that. Sometimes I say stupid stuff too, so it requires practice and it works. Practicing on being a nice person actually makes you a nice person. Yes. This one is something I've learned over a long time. Just don't care where people come from. If they're girls or boys, if they're gay or not, if they're Python people or Ruby people or Perl people, it doesn't matter.
But what would their PHP?
No comment if they're PHP people. Try to make an effort at least to say we're not the experts, or the guys who do only this little one thing. Some people are there just to broaden their view of the world, have something for them. It might just be some cool tricks in your pocket, show them a Mojolicious one-liner that can pull something cool down from the web, and then you iterate over it and grab something, and hey, suddenly you have something interesting that just took them 5 minutes to learn and they'll love for the rest of their lives. Zbisek, I'm trying to, he's not here. Yes. No, here's it. He had an awesome idea when he visited Oslo, as he told me. Basically, organize something that you'd like to learn something about. Basically, just say, hey, I know nothing, so I'll invite people that seem to know something, and then have a small one-day conference with a panel discussion and some talks. That's an awesome motivation for making stuff happen. I really love that one. Yeah, leave your ego at home. Some people really think that they're awesome. In many ways, they probably are. But letting other people who might be more introvert and not all that forward get a moment, that's useful. Yesterday we had a talk about visiting other Perl Mongers groups. That's actually a very cool thing to do, and I think we should learn from the hackerspace movement, where people visit other hackerspaces all the time. This is good stuff. You get to meet new people, you get to share stuff and experiences and have a nice time. When you're at the city, visit the local PM group. If you get visitors, then say, we'll have an emergency Perl meetup group meeting just because you're here. That's always nice to hear that people will have an emergency social meeting for you. Yes. Some final observations. The pasta rule, I learned about this yesterday. It seems about right. It's supposed to be 90% water, 9% spaghetti, and 1% salt. Or 90% people who really just lurk, 9% who now and then say something, and 1% who try to actually do things. That's my impression is that's kind of the ratios of who will or how many will do something. Yes.
9 plus 1 are the people in your group. The rest just sit at the table.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you're the 1%?
Yes. No, don't occupy me. Yeah, it's very, very easy not to say anything, and sometimes you might have people who kind of are provoked or disagree. I like disagreement because you get interesting discussion. As long as it's polite, you can have awesome discussions by just provoking a little bit and having a few talks, and if there's beer involved, even better. But that kind of needs some training with some people, and at least also some politeness. We're back to some earlier topics here. I've also found that some workplaces actually can be harmful to something like a Perl Mongers group. Saying, for example, no, you're not allowed to go to a conference. No, you're not allowed to do this and that. Don't work with the open source projects because we want to spend that you spend your time on our projects, stuff like that. And that kind of hurts us as an open source community and as anything like that. Cliques can be nice, especially if you're part of one, but it's kind of excluding, especially for the new guys, and just being open and allowing people to get in that helps a lot to attract people and let people stay. Yesterday I learned that the word mongers is non-obvious, especially in France, and thinking about that after having discussed it with Book here, that's probably true in several languages, and I never thought about that until yesterday, and just saying that a Perl Mongers group is a place where you can learn and it's open for everyone. It's not a custom in-group word that the cool guys put them on a label that they put them on themselves. That might be useful. Yeah, a little bit of repetition here, but this one is so incredibly important. Just opening your eyes a moment, seeing if there's a new guy coming into the pub and saying, hi, with a big smile, come sit down. that gives a good impression, and people like that, that they seem welcome. And one of the worst thing you can do is have some person walk in, look around, they say, these guys look like kind of a geeky, but I'm not entirely sure, they could be Python people or something. And nobody accepts them, and they walk away. That's a lost situation, and it's horrible. Learning on the job is fine. If you don't know how to organize stuff, doesn't matter. Just try anyway. You'll learn on the job, and since you're not paid to organize stuff, it's fine. This isn't a competition on being perfect or stuff like that. And yes, a little bit more. Strong personalities. We love them. They're fun. But sometimes they're also too fun. This is a quality of mine which I'm very proud of. Sometimes it's okay to say, damn it, I want to make this work, no matter what people say. And that's kind of a feeling I've been having between 2002 and 2007. That was, well, nobody uses Perl. Why should I bother organizing anything at all? Because it's a dead language, right? Now I said, no. I think there's something here. Let's see if we can keep things going. That's a useful, very useful attitude to have, just ignoring certain people or thoughts or trends. Basic communication skills are often, sometimes you need to practice. I've had to practice a lot. It does not come all by itself. And if you promise to communicate, please do it. Some people will assume that since they haven't heard anything, they're not in, which is a bad thing. All this adds up together, so this is also important. And here's some kind of a crazy meme I would like to start. Be the fifth guy, or the fourth guy. If there's a... I don't know. Well, you're number one already, so you're fine. Okay. Okay. But the point here, even if it's a guy-girl situation or person, or the point here is that taking a supporting role, even if it's number 5 or 4 or 3, is actually very useful. It helps the other guys get motivated. They get an impression that there's something happening that is useful and positive. And there's no way to show that you appreciate somebody's working on the community stuff than actually just helping them make stuff happen. I've had this comment several times because we're a tiny organization. Why bother with all the formalities? Well, the formalities are good for some reasons, including money and stuff, so you have to basically accept it sometimes. So this is about just saying, we've agreed to do this, we've agreed to make this organization, let's just stick to our agreement. Yeah. If you're just being nice, you'll be fine. So, if you have any numbers you would like to talk about, Book was quick up with his hand, then let's do that now. I have also, by the way, a few slides and something to show afterwards if we have more time. Go.